Hello, my name is Dr. Dosidlet, and welcome back to another video. Today, we are not going to be doing a movie review, we are going to be doing a video game review. And this is a video game that I'm very excited to talk about. Also, before we get into this, I haven't done a movie review in a while. Well, for my videos it may not seem like a while, but for me, I haven't recorded one in a while. And I'm not even doing a movie review. Also, I'm decorating my wall, Lucy. We have a Godzilla thing, we have a nun poster up there. We have a Stranger Things poster here that's falling, a Supernatural poster up there, and some more posters that fell down. That's under my seat right here. Um, and at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about something important to me. But anyways, let's talk about The Exorcist VR Legion. By fire. The Exorcist Legion. No, The Exorcist VR Legion. It's a very complicated name. That's not really complicated, but I'm making it complicated. The Exorcist VR Legion is based off of the Exorcist movie, which is, according to the game, quote unquote, the scariest film of all time. I will argue with that, but no, I won't. And to make it simple, I have seen the movie. I will be doing a review on that. And The Exorcist VR, I it's it's a handful to talk about because ironically it's not a long game. It's not a very long game at all. It's every chapter ranges around half an hour, um, and there's only 5 of them. However, after you complete a chapter, the board that you see in your detective room, um, it it fills up with a bunch of evidence that you see they collect when you actually play the chapter. It's really cool. Um, but anyways, I played this game on the Oculus Quest, which is the VR headset that I have. So my experience was a little different from normal PC players and the PlayStation version. So I don't really know what it was like for the other ones. Um, anyways, um, this is based off the movie, which is based off of the book, which is I haven't read the book, but I have the book. Um, there's not a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna cut so I can remember. Alright, so let's talk about the visuals. Easily, probably the best looking VR game I have ever played. The game looks amazing. Everything looks animated, but 3D and like it's really there. It looks amazing, and it's probably one of the best looking horror games on at least for VR to date. I don't know how many there are, but it's really good. For sound, the sound still amazing, still stunning. Not as good as the visuals, but still amazing. Um, um, sometimes there's this really annoying screaming that definitely is scary, and that's the point. But it can kind of get annoying into ear piercing at some points. Um, but still brilliant sound quality, 3D sound, which is amazing. Um, and the gameplay is where it lacks a bit. Still amazing gameplay, still great gameplay, and I definitely would recommend, but still it's not as good as the visuals. The visuals are definitely probably the best part. Now the gameplay, you have your hands when you're holding the controllers. Um, when you hold stuff, it looks like you're actually holding it. It actually feels like you're holding something and you use it, and it feels like you're using an actual tool that's you're using in the game. And of course, you're not actually using it, but it feels like you could be using it. Um, and um, but the thing is, each chapter is just a lot of the same thing. You just move around one room, you look for evidence, which at start seems amazing, and it is amazing at start. But eventually, it gets tedious and it gets just repetitive. You have to keep looking for clues, and it's amazing when you do. It's so satisfying because you get this din 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 creepy, ominous music in the back that plays. And when you find all the clues, then the chapter progresses and something scary happens. And then you most likely move on to another room, do something that's really easy in that room, and then move back to the room that you were in before, except things have changed and it gets scary, and then you perform an exorcism. That's really what it is for through chapters 1 through 4. Um, it's chapters 1 through 4. Chapter 5 mixes it up a lot actually, but chapter 5 is where I've had the most complaints. Um, chapter 4 probably second most, but chapter 5 definitely the most. It's chapter five's gameplay is so tedious. It's so tedious. It only took me a day to complete, but it took me the whole day. It's so tedious because it requires a lot of searching around in the dark. And in the PC versions, you get an actual good torch. But I was playing on the Quest, which for there, all you have is your dim light that sometimes will turn off, and this lighter that's in your exorcism packet. And that light is not very good at all. You can literally only see what's inches in front of you. You only get that torch towards the end, which the end of chapter 5 is the best part of the chapter and the worst part of the chapter. Let me explain. So, you go in this raft while this person in the back tells you about Pazuzu and how it must be stopped. You get off, and then you have to climb up this big mountain. When I got off, it was the worst experience I've had playing a VR game ever. The worst. It kept showing warning out of bounds, and I could not get out of bounds. I was walking all throughout my play area, and I could not get back to bounds. Every once in a while, if I was lucky, I would get back to it, but that was only if I was lucky, and I could not see anything. So I got off and watched a video of Poise playing it, um, and then I saw not Poise, someone else. I don't even know. And then I saw what they did. Right when they got off the raft, I noticed that there was a torch next to me. Why didn't they make it obvious to pick up the torch? Anyways, so you pick it up, and then the thing is illuminated, and you climb the mountain, and then the ending is hard, but it's very good storytelling. All right, now I got that right done. Let's talk about some of the other chapters. I forgot what it was called. It was so scary. It was terrifying, actually. So, you're in a morgue. Oh, yeah, I want to talk about the setting. Through each of the 5 chapters, you nailed, like, the 5 places that horror movies and horror games always take place in. Chapter 1 is at a church. Chapter 2 is at a mental hospital. Chapter 3 is in a child's bedroom. Chapter 4 is in a morgue. And Chapter 5 is underground in a tomb. That's, like, the 5 places that horror games or movies ever take place in. But anyways, let's talk about the morgue. It's such a scary setting, and composed with the music and the visuals, what they do is scary. There's like this dead body that's on this bed thing. I'm gonna describe it. You go into the next room and you do something. I'm not gonna go into too much detail in case you want to play it. I don't want to spoil the surprises, but you do something in the other room, and then the dead body sits up, and you look at it, and there's another dead body standing up in the other room that goes up the elevator. That terrified the crap out of me when I first saw that. It was scary, terrifying. I keep repeating myself. But anyways, so then you go, and then this took me a while to figure out, but you have to. I'm not gonna explain it, but it took me a while to figure out, and the puzzles are still hard, challenging, and definitely satisfying. The satisfactory meter is through the roof once you complete the challenge, and then you move on, and then it's pretty easy from there. Um, chapter three. Chapter three is hard to talk about because it's definitely one of the best. It's definitely one of the. It's definitely in the top 3 best chapters. My favorite chapter was chapter 2, and I've always thought that. Um, it's chapter 3 is. I don't know why I'm going backwards. Um, but chapter 3 is scary. You're in a child's bedroom, and it's dark, and there's a rocking chair. Lots of stuff happens with rocking chairs in movies for some reason, in horror stuff for some reason. But you really have to rely on the game's interactive ability to. You have to interact with a lot of stuff, and sometimes you don't really know what you can interact with. I had to watch a video on how to do it just to see what you had to do. Um, but you have to touch like everything and open up a lot of different things. And once you do that, you have to. Um, there's this demon voice that kind of hints at what you're supposed to do, but it's really just a leap of faith at that. He kind of hints, but he does not make it obvious where it's supposed to go. So you go there, like I said, keeping it big in case you want to play it. So you go into there, And then you go into this next room where there's a mannequin. It's scary. Mannequins are actually a big thing in chapter 3. Mannequins are terrifying because I like Doctor Who and the Weeping Angels are scary, so mannequins really frighten me. Um, but anyways, you go into that room. Um, it's not hard. You just go to the ends. You find some clues which make that do 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 ominous sound. So then you go to the next room, which you go into the bathroom, which reveals something. Then you go into the other room, and then you perform the exorcism, and then you go back to the same room that you were in. The bathroom also was an important part in chapter 3. There's a lot of stuff in there. And then you go back to the bed and you perform an exorcism. Chapter's done. Oh, chapter's done kind of sad. Now, I'm going to go chapter 1 because I want to end at chapter 2 because it's my favorite chapter. Chapter 1 takes place in a church. It's kind of an introduction to the whole game. And yeah, it is. You collect all the things in your exorcism kit. You find some tapes, which you learn some things about exorcism. And you go, you find this dead body, you find this dead body of a father, of not a father, of a priest that was killed there. And then you don't perform an exorcism. You just hold your cross at a bunch of things. Um, Scary. Not one of the. It's a scary chapter. Not super high in gameplay wise though. Now chapter 2. This is a great chapter. I love replaying this, and it was terrifying. Chapter 2 begins with you in a mental patient room, um, and you have 3 cameras on your desk. It kind of starts in a Five Nights at Freddy's like experience. Um, there's this button that you press, and it reveals an audio taped message, Five Nights at Freddy's, and it says how something bad happens. Um, it's a lot of the same thing. The same thing happened at the beginning of chapter 4. In chapter 3, it's a lot of the same thing. In chapter 1 is blah blah blah. So, um, so chapter 2 begins with the distress signal, and then you have to walk around the office thing, picking up clues, and then the cameras go offline and the power shuts off. And then one of the scariest things I've ever seen happens next. The cameras go offline and the light turns back on. We hear a thump, 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 thump. Scary. So you go to the door which leads out to the rest of the mental hospital, and there's a guy he's exactly like Hannibal Lecter. He has the mouth thing, and he's on the same sitting up track. I don't know what it's called. But he's in the room that's right across from you, and you look out the window door, not be able to open it, and you see the door across the room, and you just see him going, thumping on the head. And you look at him, and his head turns into like a bull thing, like the devil's horns. And then you can open the door, and you go to the next room, and you see him, you visit him, and then you go down this tunnel, fire appears, and you have to throw holy water into it, and then you perform an exorcism on him because there's a demon inside. And then he's crying in the other room. It's sad. But that was not the scary chapter, but the most fun I've had playing it. Playing a chapter. Um, so yeah, so um, that was the Exorcist VR. Like I said, I definitely would recommend it. I definitely do recommend it. If you're a fan of horror like me, you definitely should play this game. It's on HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, and Quest, and PlayStation VR. Pretty much every VR system. Um, um, it's definitely amazing. Like I said, I had some problems with it, but nothing that's worth to avoid playing the game. Chapter 5, definitely be cautious about that because you can run to a lot of dead ends in that one. There's a lot of moving around in Chapter 5. But, anyways, that's all I have to say about The Exorcist VR. It's a great game. I love the game. It's definitely terrifying. Go play it, and I will. Okay, I want to talk about this. Nothing to do with the game. So the reason why I haven't been uploading a lot of these is because I've been super busy. Ever since I just started making music, kind of part-time, full-time, I'm working to get an album out by the end of the year. I'm working to get an album out. I've been uploading music. I'm trying to get my stuff on Spotify, which I am. So I haven't been able to do one of these reviews. Um, so yeah, and also I'm gonna be really busy this summer. I'm gonna be trying to upload every day, and hopefully I will be able to. But so far it's been nuts. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for being patient with me. A lot of great stuff coming, and see you, Zilla. Zilla's the official name for the people of the channel. Bye.